Okay, greetings from downtown Murfreesboro. It is Sunday afternoon. By the time you look at this, it will be sometime hopefully on Monday or Tuesday in week 7. We are still in module 3 and we are on the brink of reaching our first major assignment, which is your first essay exam. I've talked about that in class in the last week, over the last week. It is scheduled for Friday, and I've asked you to download it and complete it on your own and submit it to the Dropbox by Monday, October 11th. Obviously, that's a very fluid deadline, and if you want to turn it in before then, you're more than welcome to, and then have a nice uninterrupted spring break. But do try to get this assignment completed because you don't want it hanging over you. It will include materials up through Wednesday's class, which will focus on our two figures of the scientific revolution and the developments that took place in England, specifically the formation of the Invisible College and then later the Royal Society. So first, a bit of backdrop. It would be helpful to have your notes open. So if you need to pause and get the week 7 module 3 notes open, that would be worth your while to do so. We've talked some about the scientific revolution and how it represents sort of a generally defined stretch of time of about 150 odd years between the publication of Copernicus's De Rev and the introduction or the mainstream introduction of heliocentrism, and then the publication of Newton's Principia, which we'll learn more about this week. And that's about 150 years later. So that's the time period, and we fit our figures like Kepler and Galileo and Boyle within that time frame as well. And obviously there's more to say about that than is appropriate here. But if you look at the notes, you will notice there is a series of terms for particular skills: husbandry, survey, navigation, munitions, medicine. These are all skills that required more sophisticated approaches that obviously benefited from trial and error, but also increasingly sophisticated forms of scientific engagement and technical engagement. The period during the scientific revolution was one of great political upheaval, but also one of great concern about how to move ships through the oceans more effectively, or how to manage farm estates, landed estates more efficiently, or how to map landscapes, how to treat sick or wounded people, how to design better armaments like cannons, and we see the beginnings of rifle technology. So all manner of skills are in development during this time period. There's also a very short thumbnail sketch of the English Revolution, and we're focused specifically on England because that happens to be where both Boyle and Newton were from and where they lived as contemporaries. But some appreciation for the English Revolution and its relationship to the formation of the Royal Society and therefore the advancement of scientific development would be helpful. So please take a look at that table. One of your video clips in the week 7 materials talks some about the formation of the Royal Society as well, and their motto, nullis in verba, take nothing at face value, is particularly important in relation to speaking to the need for scientific verification as confirmed by experimentation, and so establishing facts in very new terms from comparison with centuries earlier. Our key figures are Robert Boyle, who some of you know about from high school chemistry, who is the architect, or I guess the author, the originator of Boyle's Law. It might surprise you, he was also a person of great faith, but also a avid, enthusiastic reader of Lucretius and a student of Lucretius's atomism, but he understood that it was a dangerous doctrine in terms of its religious implications, so he renamed it the corpuscular philosophy. And that's what your reading for this week deals with, the reading that is listed below on the home page. So if you come across that term, that's a reinvented form of atomism. Lucretius had been rediscovered to this point, and his writings had gradually been reintroduced and they regained popularity. So Boyle is one such proponent. And then we have Isaac Newton, and there's a lot to say about the person. There's a lot to say about his laws of motion, and that's going to be one of our primary focuses. But you'll also note that there's a lot of material on your content page that deals with space travel and rocket science. And there's some diagrams that are particularly important that relate heavily to the movement of objects between planets and how that is engineered and so forth. So you've got a couple of diagrams on your notes page, and then you've got a illustration that I'm particularly fond of that deals with the landing of the lunar module, and it's showing the course of the Apollo 11 from the Earth, from its launch on Earth and its orbits around Earth, and then breaking up to travel around the moon and orbiting around and then returning to Earth. And that's an interesting process in and of itself that is, of course, intimately related with Newton's laws of motion. One other outgrowth of this, I found students tend to be interested in this section of history, and they enjoy learning Newton through the NASA space program. We'll spend some time, if appropriate, talking about the phrase, Houston, we have a problem, which is also a product of this era in space travel. So that is the introduction for week 7. Again, I'm going on just a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I do hope this introduction was informative, and I will see you all on Wednesday in class. Bye.